Namaste, welcome back to our channel Ayurveda 360. So continuing with the induction program series for the BAMS freshers, this episode is dedicated to Sanskrit language. Most of the students, once they enter into BAMS, then only they realize that there is a subject called as Sanskrit, and most of the text in Ayurveda is written in the Sanskrit language. After which they start to panic and ultimately become stressed out, because of which ultimately they cannot perform up to their best in the coming, you can say, curriculum. Now, if they are already aware regarding this subject, that is Sanskrit language, whether it is going to help them in near future, and if they are not aware of this language called Sanskrit, and especially basic Sanskrit grammar, then will they be able to cope up with the syllabus of BMS and ultimately become a good doctor, for which they have entered this kind of course? So these things will be discussed here. So watch this video till the end to get complete clarification of all queries in relation to Sanskrit and BAMS. You are already aware of the induction program that is being virtually telecasted here in this channel. So the session 1 was in relation to the curriculum of BMS, how the 4.5 years curriculum is divided into 3 professional years, or you can say BMS, how the subjects are placed and what is their significance. In this session, we are taking up one such subject which is specifically placed in first BMS, that is Sanskrit. So Sanskrit being the language and you can say the mother tongue of the Ayurveda physician, he has to be aware regarding what are the basics regarding Sanskrit which is necessary in relation to understanding Ayurveda. So this series or this specific video is in relation to that. Many of you might be having in your mind regarding this question: what if I don't have any background of Sanskrit before entering BMS? Background in the sense, you have never studied a language called Sanskrit from 1st to 10th and neither in +1 and +2. You just knew that Sanskrit is a very old language and it was used in the earlier times. Other than that, you are not at all aware of Sanskrit in any other terms. Now, are you going to be successful in completing the BMS and ultimately becoming an Ayurveda Vaidya? Now, we'll see answers to these questions. So, the Gazette notification, which was you can say launched on February 16, 2022. So, there were slight changes in the syllabus of BMS. The first professional BMS, which was earlier having Sanskrit as an independent subject, now is made into Sanskrit and Ayurveda Itihasa. So out of 200 marks, 180 marks is kept for Sanskrit, which means history is just at the introductory level, not at the deeper level. So that is a good news for the BMS students, because history needs to be remembered rather than you can say learning by heart. But Sanskrit is a language which needs to be applied and to be used in the future course as well. So now this Gazette notification, as you are already aware of that, just brush up. So 3 professional BMS, 1.5 years. If you see the subjects of each professional BMS, so most of them are having the names in Sanskrit: Padartha Vignan, Kriya Shariram, Rachna Shariram, Samhita, the second year syllabus like Dravya Guna, Agata Tantra. So all these wordings are made in Sanskrit, the third year syllabus like Shalya Shalakya and all those things. So definitely the subjects are in Sanskrit, written in Sanskrit, which means the content will also be in Sanskrit. So that will be in your mind at the initial, you can say, look at this syllabus. Even the departments, whatever you have seen, these are very much, you can say, weird when you enter from +2 and coming to science of Ayurveda, which you have never heard. If you are listening to such kind of terms like Kaya Chikitsa, Swastha Vrata, then again there is some query in the minds of students regarding where have we entered. So for clearing all those purpose, the basic knowledge of Sanskrit is necessary. Now the Sanskrit being the language of Ayurveda, it is kept as a subject in first professional BMS. So 1.5 years you will be studying Sanskrit in 2 different papers with different syllabus. Now at the same time you are also learning the language of Sanskrit. So language, as a language, Sanskrit will be helpful for you to understand the other subjects. So it is not just clearing the paper of Sanskrit which is necessary, it is getting the basic idea of the rules of the language, at the same time getting the vocabulary increased from your prior to BMS career. So that is very much important. Now, when you don't have any Sanskrit BMS, since the Samhita are written in Sanskrit, of all of the Samhita, you can say Charaka, Sushruta, Vagbhata, these are basic Samhita which you are going to study in the course of 4.5 years. Apart from that, any other Samhita are also written in Sanskrit. Now, with this background, the 90% of students, BMS students who are entering into this Ayurveda course, they are initially tensed. Tensed because, first of all, they have entered into a medicinal science which probably they wouldn't have thought earlier, which means maybe by force or not by choice, most of the students have entered into such kind of a course. Maybe later, more than half of those students will be interested in studying the subject and applying the real lives. But at the beginning, there are two different things. One is the entry to not so familiar science. At the same time, after entering, understanding the subject of Samhita, that is Ayurveda, in the language of Sanskrit. So, two major, you can say, hurdles a student faces in the initial life. But for your, you can say, clearance or clarification, and to your surprise, more than 90% of the Ayurveda students or graduates who have entered BMS had never had any background of Sanskrit. So, never in the sense, they never studied Sanskrit as a base or as a language. 90% of the students have studied Sanskrit for the first time in their life when they entered first BMS. Now, this point should be kept in your mind and should enter your head, because this will be more of, you can say, convenient way of making you grasp my point. Now, more than these 90% of the students who have never had Sanskrit background, still they are successful. More than maybe half of them may be successful. So they have faced certain hurdles and ultimately they have reached the success. Now, this hurdle is not just in relation to language. It is the medical science which has difficulties in understanding and application in the real life practice, which make a student, you can say, get challenges in his, you can say, student life. Ultimately, he crosses them and gets the success. So, one of those hurdles is the language of Sanskrit, which he or she will definitely overcome, provided she or he is interested in studying Ayurveda and at the same time respecting the, you can say, tradition of India. Now, this should be your, you can say, inspiration rather than listening to somebody else. More than 90% of the Ayurveda scholars who never had a background of Sanskrit are more successful now in their career, even though they never had Sanskrit background. So this line should be printed in your, you can say, minds forever. Now this Sanskrit is a language, of course, and it is specifically used for communication purpose. So a language is used for communication purpose, just like your mother tongue. You may be having mother tongue of Telugu, you may be having mother tongue of Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, Gujarati, or any other state you can take. Now, this language, whatever you are aware of, is having two components. One is the spoken language, other one is the literature language. Now, the spoken language may not follow 100% of the grammatical rules as in the literature, as in the books. But the literature usually follows most of the grammatical rules mentioned in that particular subject grammar, or you can say language grammar. So this point should be, you can say, should be taught by you. Like, when you are having a particular language as a mother tongue, it doesn't always necessarily mean you are aware of the grammar of that language. I hope you got the point. Your mother tongue is Marathi. You may not be aware of the grammar in Marathi. Still, you are able to speak. At the same time, there are few people who take a language as, you can say, third language in +1, +2, which they never heard of. Maybe French, maybe Hindi for the South Indians, or maybe some South Indian language for the North Indians. But still, they learn certain things and they get the pass marks. Now, even after clearing that exam, the grammar part of that exam, they are not able to speak that language. So this is the second, you can say, the vice versa of the first part. First one, where the language, spoken language is known, grammar is not known, properly not known. The second one, where grammar is slightly known or half known, but you can say unable to speak in that particular language. Now, this is a contrasting situation. So what I am trying to tell is, you need not have a comprehensive knowledge of a particular language to understand something through that particular language any literature is written. still you are able to understand that. So that is my whole point. So a language is usually used for the communication purpose. Communication purpose. So communication may not be 100%. Conveying is the matter of fact now. Now, when you enter into the BMS, you will be getting even translated books even to your local languages. How far they are good in translation, that is a question, you can say that is a different topic of discussion. So we'll come to that when you gradually enter into BMS and actual classes start. After that, I'll make a video on that. But one for you, now the information for you is you will get the translated books as per your mother tongue, like you can say in any of your mother tongue. Also, in the examination, you need not always write in 100% Sanskrit. This you need to keep in mind. No need to worry. Even though the wordings are written in Sanskrit, in examination you are free to write in your language, in your usually the English or Hindi or that particular state mother tongue is, or you can say state language is allowed in the board exams or final exams. So studying, you have translated texts if you are completely unaware of Sanskrit initially, and examination also not 100% necessary. So first thing is take away that burden from your head that you should know 100% Sanskrit before entering the BMS. This first and the foremost part. Now, other than that, you are aware of one or the other language of India, definitely. If you are coming from outside India, definitely you will feel more difficulty because you are not having that connection with the Indian languages. But if you are aware of one of the language from India, it could be South India or North India, and if you are a South Indian, then Sanskrit is more close to you. So then definitely Sanskrit and those languages are having something similar, or you can say some similarity, because of which you will feel familiarity once you start to learn. Maybe in grammatical aspects like Sandhi or Samasa, you will feel like, okay, your mother tongue also has similar Sandhi Samasa. Your mother tongue also has similar Karaka Prakarana. So you will start connecting yourself with your mother tongue or whatever language you know and the Sanskrit. So once you start studying Sanskrit, like till now you never studied because it was not asked for any exam or you didn't require it in future. Now you require it, so you are going to study it. Definitely you are going to think from this perspective. So the connection with Indian languages is definitely there with Sanskrit. So no need to worry. Now, the initial part what I mentioned, we usually use this for one of the purpose, the communication purpose. The communication purpose Sanskrit, and another one is grammatical part, the literature part. Now, for understanding the Ayurveda, you should know, you should have an idea regarding both of this, the communication as well as the grammar part. We'll see what can be done for achieving this. So you can see here the communication from one language to another language can also be done through translation. So translations are available. Whatever I have told is just getting repeated. So one thing is you should start to listen to Sanskrit words. So this image depicts, once you start to listen to a particular language multiple times, many times, you will grasp the wordings. So the first thing is, whenever you are asked to speak in your language, mother tongue, you can speak for half an hour or 1 hour. At the same time, if you are asked to write in your mother tongue, you will write for half an hour, 1 hour. Now, how is it possible that even though you have not thought about that particular topic, instantly you can talk for half an hour or 1 hour? Instantly you can write for half an hour or 1 hour? It is because you are aware of the words. The vocabulary in your mother tongue is very good. That is why you are able to do that. Now, the point here is, key point, come back to this topic. For you to better in or excel in the subject of language in Sanskrit, your vocabulary is the prime, you can say, thing which you need to focus on. Vocabulary. So vocabulary needs to be improved. Each and every word you learn every day, every minute in Sanskrit is going to help you in near future. So the vocabulary is one point which you need to keep in mind. So how you can achieve these skills in Sanskrit? What are the tips? We'll see in brief. First thing is, you should make it a habit to keep certain time every day for Sanskrit. Certain time in the sense not 1 or 2 hours, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, not more than that. But learning every day regularly is going to be, or you can say regular study is going to be the key, rather than hard work on whole night. It is the 10 to 15 minutes of every day which matters. So every day, little bit of time for Sanskrit. What you need to see or what you need to look up to, certain words, new words. You should take up the dictionaries. So there are multiple dictionaries. I will not go into details of dictionary names here, but any dictionary with which you can learn Sanskrit into English, Sanskrit into Hindi, Sanskrit into your mother tongue, any of such. Learn 5 words every day. That is more than sufficient. Start listening to your routine communication words in Sanskrit. Instead of laughing, tell asati, dhyayati, chintayati, rodati. So certain examples I have given here. So these are nothing but the expressions, or you can say the emotions of a person. So whenever you come across a word, think from that point of view what could be the Sanskrit nearby word. So you will get to know more and more words. At the same time, start reading the literature, the novels, or you can say any magazines or any of the news channels which are reading out in Sanskrit. So hearing, reading the literature will also make you, even though you don't know the language, still you watch a movie, because you are getting that the entire, you can say the overall meaning. Even though you don't get the actual word meaning, still you are aware, you are able to get the entire message as such. That's why you see. Similarly, at here also you should watch or listen to or read the literature. Translation. Try to translate yourself. One part is Sanskrit to your language. Now the opposite of that. This one line is there in your mother tongue, translate it with the Sanskrit or in Sanskrit. So that is another way of every day keeping in touch with Sanskrit. After that, so you will have multiple grammatical aspects. Till now whatever I told, it was more of spoken Sanskrit. I hope you got the point. It was more of spoken Sanskrit. Now the grammatical part of Sanskrit you will be learning in detail in the classes of Sanskrit. So that may not be easy for you to start reading any text and understand the grammar. There you require a good guide, or you can say teacher. So you have a subject of Sanskrit, and first paper is entirely dedicated to the grammar of Sanskrit. You can see the new syllabus where you are going to be taught from basics. What are the varna in Sanskrita Varnamala? Which are the term letters? What are the different classifications of letters? How they are pronounced, what are the areas of pronunciation. So what are the specific terminologies, Sangna Prakarana in Sanskrit. What are the basic upasarga or pratyaya, the ones which come behind the word or after the word. What is avyaya, the words which don't change according to, irrespective of, you can say, gender, place and time, the word will remain the same. That is called as avyaya. You are going to see in detail. I am just giving you brief idea regarding what and all you are going to study in grammatical part of Sanskrit in first year. So you are going to study Karaka Prakarana, that is Sapta Vibhakti. You are also going to study Sandhi, which is basic in any language, and Samasa. After that, you are also going to study Rupa, Shabda Rupa, that is in relation to both simple grammar, Sanskrit, and also the terminologies of Sanskrit, in Ayurveda. So you are also going to learn the Linga Prakarana and Dhatu Prakarana. I told Upasarga, beginning of a word, pratyaya after the word, and the main word, the root word. Like for example, Ayurveda, Veda terminology is taken from Vid Dhatu. So Vid is the root term, origin of that. So you are going to study that. Now you can say syntactic derivations. You are going to study in Dhatu, Upasarga and Pratyaya. Everything in detail you are going to study in first year with examples in relation to Ayurveda. You are also going to study Pratyaya. I have already mentioned regarding that, and that was in relation to paper 1. So paper 1, if you just analyze the basics of Sanskrit grammar, everything is covered in detail, and of course 1.5 years is more than sufficient for you to gain command in that particular subject. So make full use of the time you are going to get once curriculum starts. Before that, as I told, certain homework, or you can say routine works, you can start. At the same time, after the curriculum is started, still 10 to 15 minutes spent for the first part. So your grammatical part is going to be covered in the classes. Next, the paper 2 of Sanskrit, it focuses on learning the literature, maybe some stories, maybe some, you can say, derivations in the Ayurveda text. Whatever Samhita you are going to read, some Sanskrit grammar in relation to Ayurveda Samhita. So this is one new, you can say, trial by NCISM. It was not there earlier. The second paper, whatever syllabus is made, it is slightly, or you can say almost matching, or you can say connected with the syllabus of Ayurveda in first year. This is one positive from this syllabus, which will make it easier for student to understand Sanskrit. At the same time, apply the Sanskrit language in first year other subjects. So this one, you can say, master stroke in the syllabus, which may help the students in the long run. So I completely agree with this particular part of paper 2, where Ayurveda and Sanskrit grammar both are merged, and it's a very welcome, you can say, move from NCISM. And I appreciate all the people who have made the syllabus, because it is very much promising in the near future. So after that we'll be studying certain Subhashita, like for getting to know regarding verses and Gadya Rupa. Ultimately we are going to study some simple stories. It could be a story of childhood, childhood type of stories, but still to get the language, the listening skills will improve, at the same time the pronunciation skill will improve, at the same time the vocabulary will improve, the spoken language will improve. For that purpose we will be learning certain stories. So ultimately a first year BMS student will learn Sanskrit very easily if he indulges in these parts. One is read, write, listen, speak, and ultimately practice it every day. He or she is never going to look back from Sanskrit language. They are always going ahead with the Sanskrit, and Sanskrit will take them forward. So these are two ways. You will be initially behind Sanskrit, and once you reach that level of Sanskrit, Sanskrit will automatically take you further, and you will never look back, and you will always feel good to learn Sanskrit. At the same time, you are studying other subject, you will feel happy that with the background of, or with the knowledge of Sanskrit, you are able to understand the subject properly, other subjects properly. So even if you don't understand completely, in 1.5 years, it doesn't matter. Initially you will have to just manage as you study. You ask the doubts, specific doubts, with the concerned lecturer, teachers in the your specific college, but ultimately the hard work of the student matters. Otherwise nothing is going to be happening. The hard work itself is the answer for all the confusions. So now ultimately this video tells you that Sanskrit is not at all necessary, but once you enter, the hard work will be necessary or will be required for you to get command on the Sanskrit. So at the same time, enjoy learning this. It's a new language for you, but it is one of the, or you can say it is the oldest, and you can say the most holy kind of language. Of course, each and every person likes his or her mother tongue, but of course nobody denies regarding Sanskrit being the origin of Indian other languages. So with this, we complete this part of induction where Sanskrit is discussed in relation to whether required or not in the first professional BMS from background point of view. So I hope you like this video and most of your confusions may be cleared. Even if you still have certain query, you can definitely put them in comment box. We'll be clearing there. There are certain Sanskrit basic videos which are already out in the same channel under the playlist of Sanskrit grammar. You can see there, because I have taken both simple easy understanding of Sanskrit grammar, at the same time combining with the Ayurveda syllabus. So maybe after few curriculum part is over in your theory classes, you may come back and see them for better clarification. So if you like our content, kindly like, subscribe to our channel, kindly press the notification bell there, because whenever we upload a video, you will get the notification. And as earlier I have already mentioned, various NCISM rules are in detail explained in the same video, in the same channel. So kindly watch them. If you have any other query, kindly put them in the comment box. We'll be answering there. Until next time, thank you.